Well, good morning, church. I'm here with Dan. Say hi, Dan.
Hi, Dean. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm here with Lane. Say hi, Lane.
Hey guys.
Hey, Lane.
Hey, Lane.
We're meeting obviously at the church building, and you can certainly see we're keeping our distance, and that's kind of what we got to do anymore. But we just want to give you a little bit of update of what's been going on, and maybe a little bit of insight into where we're going to go. Everybody and their brother, I'm sure, is asking about our reopening plan, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But between now and then, there's still a whole lot going on, so we're going to talk about that. I want to open with a passage of Scripture. Someone asked Jesus one time, "Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments." You know, a couple days ago, I posted a couple questions on Facebook and asked people to respond, and I got quite a few. But the questions were this: How has God shown Himself to you during this time? How have you been blessed, and what positive thing or things have you learned? And these are some of the comments that I got on Facebook. One person said how that this has been used by God to strengthen their patience. I think all of us could say at least our patience has been tested. Hopefully it's been strengthened. Another said you can't control everyone's actions, but you can your own. So don't take everything so personal. Someone said a positive thing we have learned is to help others when you have what you need and maybe a little extra. Certainly we've seen a whole lot of people sharing and helping each other. Someone else said you can enjoy your family by doing the simple things: playing board games, movie and popcorn nights, playing outside, taking walks, just enjoying the simple pleasures. And I love my family. What a great thing that people are seeing. Someone else said, God has shown me over and over how people really do care. In my life, in the lives of others, it's a beautiful thing to witness. A friend of mine, actually my son's boss, electrician, said, watched a few folks lose a lot while my business has continued on strong with a great group of guys that have not tried the easy way to make a buck. Certainly a good perspective there from Rob Jones. Many of us, someone said, have been blessed with good health during this pandemic. Many have been blessed by not being in need. So many blessings. You know, I kind of want to go back to that first verse we opened up with. You know, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You know, there's so many opinions on either side of the fence, and maybe multiple in the middle, about is the government doing the right thing, or they're not doing the right thing. You know, is the president a genius, or is he a buffoon? Is our governor the Antichrist, or is he really being used by God to help us? All kinds of opinions. All you got to do is look at Facebook or social media, and you'll find every brand of opinion. But at the end of the day, we as a church are not governed solely by the governor or by the president. We are governed by this. We are governed by the idea that we are to love God with all our heart, all our mind, all our strength. And certainly we are to love our neighbor as ourselves. So many of the decisions that we've made, hopefully all of the decisions we've made as a church, I know the elders wrestle with a lot of things, you know, has been driven by how are we loving each other? Has it been frustrating that we've not been able to be together? Absolutely. I'm a people person. I've been called by God to be a pastor. I would do it without being paid. Don't tell the elders that. But, you know, I love people, and it is really, really hard for me to not be around folks. Easter Sunday was brutal. I mean, it really was. And so I understand that. And I hunger to be able to get back together with you all. And I know these other two do, and each of you, I'm sure, feel the same way. But we had a real wake-up call a couple weeks ago, and I think it really helped me put this in perspective. You know, when Joyce Minke wound up being sick, and when Don called me and said they were sending her to the hospital to get a COVID-19 test, my heart sank. I was visibly shaken. Praise the Lord. I mean, this is weird, but praise the Lord, it was only pneumonia. When you're in advanced years and you have pneumonia, it can be fatal. But here we were as a congregation thanking the good Lord that it was just pneumonia. And we've been so blessed in our church. So many people that would certainly be in that area that they refer to as vulnerable have been safe. Nobody has contacted this or contracted this at Bourbon Heights. So our older population, not only in Bourbon County, but specifically in our church, has been safe. And that is certainly an unbelievable blessing. And so the decisions the elders make, and I'm with them on this, are going to be driven first and foremost by loving God and loving people. And many, many times the hard decision has to be made is a loving decision. Nobody said loving is always goosebumps and good feelings. Sometimes it's doing the right thing when it's the hardest thing. And so a lot of what we've done and a lot of what we're going to do and how we plan to reopen is driven by the fact that we love one another. And so I got these two guys here. They're going to give us a little bit of update on some of the things we have been able to do in different areas of ministry, and ideally some things we might be able to expect. And the key word for any of this is tentative. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know how everything's going to wash out. We have some plans, but plans change, as we've all seen. So Dan, I'll start with you. What have we been able to do in the area of discipleship over the last weeks? And what are some things we may be looking at in the near future and long term, if you've got anything like that? So.
Okay. Well, let me first say I miss you. I can't wait to get together and hug. I don't know when I'm going to be allowed to do that, but I really miss hugging everybody. And I hope your family's doing well. Ours is doing well. We're all healthy, and I hope you're well and staying healthy and doing well. And we really, really do miss you. I'll say this Wednesday we're doing a virtual Vine. We would have stopped doing the Vine if there wasn't a COVID-19. We would have broke for the summer. But because of all the craziness out there, we're going to go ahead and continue and do the Vine. It's online. It's through Zoom. If you want to be part of that, haven't been a part, you can shoot me an email or text me or just call me on my cell phone. You can call the office here and Margaret will get me that message. That's fine. But we're going to go ahead and continue the virtual Vine. I don't know when we'll stop. It just depends on when we're back in the building. So we're going to keep doing that. The other thing is there is a discussion guide. I'm sure everybody isn't aware of this, but on Sunday morning, you sent out the email for all the stuff that's on Sunday morning. There's a discussion guide that goes with the sermon, and the link for that is in that. Sometimes you even send a PDF. That's the file that's in there. And Lane also puts the link to that in the bottom of the, on YouTube, there's a comment section. What's it called?
The description.
The description, and you can click the little arrow and it drops down, and there's a link. You can download it straight from in there. So that's fantastic. Gary Linville, I know, is doing his class that meets on Sunday morning, his life group online with Zoom too. If you want your class to do that and you need help getting online, I can help you set up Zoom and do all that and get you going on that too. I know that Carl is meeting with the teenagers on Zoom. His Wednesday night is on Wednesday afternoon when he does that. And what he normally does on Sunday morning, he's doing on Sunday afternoon. And he's looking at plans for the summer, and of course some of that stuff is still up in the air, and it's not going to be normal summer, and so he's looking at that. Erin also she sends out a Boredom Busters email every week. She sends that to parents of children. And if you're not getting that and want to get on, she says, hey, just let her know and she'll put you on that list. It also comes out in that Sunday morning email, I think, the Boredom Busters, as along with, she's doing a children's sermon that's a playlister kind of thing. And you can get that. If you need help getting that or getting it to work, you can call Erin would be the best one to call. You can call me too and I'll help you. She's looking at Vacation Bible School. She's been really struggling about how to do that, how to proceed. She's got several different options on the table, and we're not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but it's going to look like something. We're getting there. So all those things, we're still busy. It seems like it takes twice as long to do everything online as it does live. I don't know
It
if
sure does.
It's crazy, but we're making it work. And so, but we really want to stay connected. And so, if you just give me a phone call, and we'll work out how to connect. So, okay.
If you haven't been able to join certainly on the Vine on Wednesday night, it's been great. It really has. Dan's done a great job of that and many other things behind the scenes. So thank you, Dan. Lane, number one, congratulations. You finally have your family back. And if all things go well,
good thing.
Friday you'll be a homeowner. Is that correct?
If everything goes well, yeah.
Well, we all know about closing, so
Yeah.
we'll keep him in prayer about that. But a couple questions for this young man. What are some things that we, specifically in the music world here, the worship world, what have we learned during this time, and what can we look forward to?
Well, I know personally one of the things that I have learned is how to be flexible. Being flexible
Yeah.
is definitely something that, given the circumstances, we have to adapt that.
Yes.
And but also from the rest of the team, just from what I've been hearing from them, is how to be patient and how to be supportive during this time, because obviously we haven't been able to utilize the band, and they've been nothing but supportive. And you know what, that to me is just a perfect representation of the family that we are. And I mean, some exciting things is that we actually are going to be utilizing the band, half of them, where we pretty much split the band into half. And we're going to be able to utilize 5 or 6 at a time, obviously everybody being social distanced. I've got everything marked out on the stage to where people can stand, and this is as far as you can go, and don't go any farther than this. And if you have to sneeze, go outside behind the Hope Building, and but we're excited because God's allowing this progress to slowly come about. And I think the best part about this is, from the worship perspective, you realize just how reliant on God you have to be. That you can't do this by yourself. You can't do this without God. And as a worship guy, I rely heavily on the band. I rely heavily on the sound guys and the media and all this other stuff. And whenever God solos you and goes, "Hey, check it out, here's where we're at," it's terrifying, but God is always faithful. He hasn't failed us yet. And like you said, yes, it does seem like it takes twice as long to get everything up online. But, thankfully, our church family's been very supportive in this. They've been watching, they've been tithing. One way that I would like to inform you guys of how we can continue this is, if you see it on your Facebook, go ahead and share it. Share it on your timeline. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to write a paragraph. Just say, "Hey, here's my church. If you need somewhere to go," whatever, and just share it. If you get in an email, you can copy the link and text it to your family or your friends or your coworkers or your worst enemies. Text it to everybody. And, this is going to get the word out, because we've been seeing God moving in our community with people that don't even go to our church. There's people that are commenting on our videos that don't even go here. And it's reaching the community. So if anything comes of this, at least that's happening. People that may not come here are still hearing the Word of God, and they have a place to go on Sunday morning or Wednesday night or wherever. God is using this in such a big way. It's really exciting to see.
Right. And the nice thing about this is we've also started putting all the sermons in video format on our webpage. So if you missed a week, you can go back. You can go back through the emails. You can go to the YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. It makes it a lot easier to find it. You get messages of when the latest and greatest has been uploaded and all that. And so these two guys have done just an incredible job. We've been incredibly blessed. Feel really sorry for Lane. He was here 2 weeks, and then we had to shut everything down. So it kind of became the Lane show for a little bit, but it was a very good show, and certainly glad that we can do things differently. Well, I promised earlier we're going to talk a little bit about reopening plans. I know everybody's been watching the news And if you've been watching too much, I'm sure you're depressed. Don't watch it too much, but it is important to be informed. As we all know, some courts have said, hey, you can go ahead and meet if you want. The governor can't stop you. We've also seen where the governor has put out some guidelines for reopening houses of worship. Those are readily available. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask Lane to go ahead and put a link to that document so you'll know at least what we're seeing if you haven't seen already. But just because we have the green light to open, and for us it would be the 24th, we're not going to be doing that at this point. We've got some tentative dates in mind, and the reason for that is not because we don't want to. We absolutely want to. But there's some steps we absolutely have to take to guarantee the safety of each other. Whether it's an older person who would be more in that vulnerable area, or a child who comes in, contacts it with someone else, and then takes it back to the grandmother or grandfather or an older neighbor or someone else who might be vulnerable. So there's a number of steps that are outlined in the governor's recommendations that we think are really good ideas. We're going to be sanitizing the entire building. We're going to be securing plenty of supplies to be able to have ongoing cleaning and ongoing sanitation. It is going to be a requirement that when you come into the building, that you're wearing a mask. If you have to go to the bathroom, we'll have to find a way for one person to go at a time, and then that area cleaned and sanitized before the next person can come in. Obviously, the way we do communion, the way we do offering, those things will be different. We're not going to be passing trays. We're not going to be passing plates because that's a wonderful way to pass things that we don't want passed. So there's a number of things that we have to line up. We're also watching. We're seeing, there's other states, there's other areas that have opened up before we have, and we're really watching closely because if this pandemic starts spiking again and we realize that opening is even more dangerous, then that will drive the bus. Absolutely, everything in us wants to open, but just like I said in the first verse I read, love your neighbors yourself. We're all willing to take a hit. We're willing to make sacrifices for the benefit of others. Like I said before, when we had one of our dear members with an illness that could have easily been something else, it was scary. Now, we're not driven by being fearful. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, and we definitely want to believe in that. But at the same time, the church is the church, and I have been so proud of you all. Even though we haven't been able to meet for several weeks, when I see people sharing the message, when I see people bringing food, when I see people picking up things and taking it to other people, checking on each other, we're, in a very real sense, we're being the church a lot better than when we just have church in the building. And we want to continue that. There's going to be more information forthcoming. The elders are meeting regularly. I'm meeting with them. And there will be more information coming. But we didn't want to leave you hanging. We wanted you to know that there are some great things coming. But at the same time, we got some great things right now. God is still on the throne. He's still in charge. And together we win because He's with us. So thank you so much for watching this few minutes with us today. God bless, and Lord willing, we'll see you Sunday online.